Today's video can only begin with a special announcement. I am a weeb. Relax, relax. Okay, calm down. Just calm down. I know this is a bit of a shock to all of you out there, but let's take a look at the facts. The hair's getting long. Quarantine season's in full effect. I could have cut this maybe at some point, styled it at the very least, put a hairband in it, tied it back, call it a day. But then I had this crazy thought. What if I got a bunch of ninja head ties? Then I could wear these, be a weeb, and no one would ask otherwise because I can't go get a haircut. Now, with that very fact in mind, naturally, I was very much looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima. We just saw an extensive look at this game through the most recent state of play. And I'm gonna be honest, right off the bat, guys, I was kind of underwhelmed with what we were shown recently. Now, I already expect people are gonna tell me I'm being negative for the sake of being negative, trying to get hate clicks and whatnot. This is genuinely my opinion, and I wanted to provide this video because I've seen a very overwhelmingly positive reaction, which is awesome. I'm glad that people are excited about Sucker Punch's next game. But for some of you out there, I thought you may find the conversation interesting for someone who's on the other side of the fence, and maybe you'll take something away from this talk we're gonna have because I feel I can explain my point well. Let's start off with the positive. Ghost of Tsushima has a jaw-dropping open world. I cannot wait to get my hands on that world and just be in there and explore it. The music, incredible, love it. There's a samurai flair everywhere you go. It's deeply embedded into the game. We have that black and white mode so you can replace the samurai movies. The photo mode looks dope, and I don't even like photo mode all that much. So don't get me wrong, there's very positive aspects of Ghost of Tsushima, and I can totally understand why people are excited for it. So you may look at me and be like, well, why aren't you? Number one, you like these types of games. Number two, anything Japanese, you're pretty much a big fan of. So where are things kind of going wrong? Well, let's explain. Sucker Punch Productions created this bad boy right here, Sly Cooper 1 through 3. One of my favorite series of all time, and Sly 2 Band of Thieves being easily in my top 5 games of all time. Out of everything I've played, Sly 2 sits in the top 5. Let's also not forget about Infamous. 1 and 2 are some of my favorite open world games where you gain superpowers, true choices that affect the world and also how you play the game. If there's one thing that can be said about both these series, these games are not like anything else available today. Maybe you'll see elements of these games in other titles, but they were so original, unique, nothing like them. And that's not to say that Ghost of Tsushima is not that, but it's more so that I was a bit disappointed as I saw Jin exploring the open world that Ghost of Tsushima quickly looked more and more like a game I've played for many, many years. I started thinking more on this. This is why I didn't have a video out on this game yesterday. I really wanted to give some thought as to why I was feeling this way, and I looked at the recent releases for Sucker Punch. It's been since 2014 since we've seen a full game from these people when they released Infamous Second Son, and that was close to the beginning of the PlayStation 4's release. Infamous Second Son being a game I've played and beat twice, I have the Platinum Trophy for. I didn't think it was as good as the other Infamous games, but it's been 6 years since this Sony first-party studio has produced anything outside of Infamous First Light, which came a little bit after Second Son. And I got thinking that there were only 2 perspectives you could really share when you're looking at that large gap and anticipating what Sucker Punch is doing next. Number one, oh God, it's been, at this point, it would have been 6 years that we have yet to see a game released from Sucker Punch. Are they stuck in development hell with whatever they are working on next? Game development is tough, it's very tricky. Or option 2, they're toiling away on a really great idea and they wanted to be patient and reveal it later on. Now, we saw Ghost of Tsushima in 2018, and what I saw there, I was over the moon on. Once again, we saw that samurai flair, we saw the grapple hook in action, there was a lot of traversal, and I'm still excited to play the game. Just, it got dampened as I saw the open world exploration and some of the checklist activities. Quite frankly, this game reminded me of exactly what I envisioned in my head when we begged Ubisoft for years and years and years to make a Japanese-themed Assassin's Creed game. That's pretty much what Ghost of Tsushima is. And as I'll show in this video, you can see with some of the elements in the game that Sucker Punch has been playing a lot of Ubisoft games. And that's not to be disrespectful, because I think Ubisoft gets slighted a bit easier than other developers out there. And some of their open worlds are truly incredible. Some of my favorite to explore. So once again, that's kind of a compliment, but still, there is that familiarity. Ubisoft is known to have a template, and they kind of copy and paste all those elements into the next game in the series, for example. So what you see in Far Cry 5 may end up in some way, shape, or form, structure-wise, in the next Assassin's Creed game. There's a ton of overlap. What I mean by this is, let's take for example when Jin is clearing out this ship and he's destroying materials on said ship. When he does that, the whole camera zooms out, it shows the entire location that you cleared out, it says that you've cleared it, kind of just like in Far Cry when you clear out one of the bases in the game. Like, identical. Heck, even when you're running around the open world and there are materials that you can loot, they have that faint shine to them to let you know that they are available for your character to pick up, and these materials will be used for crafting with the charm system. So my point being is that Ghost of Tsushima doesn't look bad. It's not bad at all. I'm sure it'll be a great game. It just looks very familiar, and because of that, it's underwhelming. And the reason I'm emphasizing this so much is because for a company that's made, in my opinion, some of the best series of all time, Sly Cooper, Infamous, Ghost of Tsushima looks unique in its authenticity, I guess, but not unique in its gameplay elements. They all seem familiar from other games tossed in here. I do see some people discussing online how PlayStation exclusives tend to take really good ideas and toss them all into their game, and then it gets glorified because it's a PlayStation exclusive. I tend to disagree with that. For example, Spider-Man from Insomniac is a checklist open world, but there are two things that really help differentiate that experience. Number one is traversal. Going from point A to point B as Spider-Man is a thrill. In this game, you're on horseback, and that's fine. It helps make that universe feel more authentic. But point B with Spider-Man is you have 30 different suits with different powers and abilities, a fun, smooth combat system. There's a lot of depth there and experimentation plus gadgets, where the checklist is more like an enabler for you to use all these crazy tools that the developer provides you. And now it's always possible we haven't seen that breadth of options that Ghost of Tsushima has compared to something like Spider-Man, but my point there was more so that I feel like these PlayStation exclusives are very much their own beast. But even if it has those breadth of options, I personally played earlier this year one of my favorite games of the year so far still, Nioh 2. And that is a game that is very much about the flair of being either a ninja, a samurai, a mage. There's so many build options, the weapon types, the multiple stances, something that's been in the Nioh series since the original back in 2017 that we are now seeing Ghost of Tsushima have with its multiple stances, except you can only use a samurai sword. Whereas in Nioh 2, you could use the Kusarigama, the switchblade, the spear, so on and so forth, with all those high, medium, and low stances. So it's led me to this feeling that Ghost of Tsushima was likely caught in development hell. Let's take a look at the fact that this game was shown extensively back in 2018, and now it's going to be releasing in the middle of 2020. There's a very, very, very good chance if this game probably came out on time when it was supposed to be, that I'd be sitting here freaking out about it. But now we live in a world where we have Sekiro, we have Nioh 2, some of the best samurai sword fighting games that I think people have experienced. And when I saw the gameplay rolling with Ghost of Tsushima, I felt like it looked a little choppier, it didn't look as slick, and I don't think it looked bad. By industry standards, it didn't look bad. It's just that I saw other games doing certain elements better. Quick cut in here, as I'm editing this video, I wanted to just put the gameplay from 2018 side by side with the 2020 gameplay. Now, I'm not one of those people who are gonna screech downgrade. I understand the element of game development, and I understand that sometimes games can be shown off a bit too early, but you can quickly see that there's a difference in how smooth the animations are from 2018 versus 2020. Most notably in the movement of Jin himself as he's going from enemy to enemy. It's less of that calm stature as he gradually faces his foes and more of a jank to it. Is it the end of the world? No, but you can definitely tell a lot has happened between these last 2 years, and maybe not in the game's favor in the terms of its smoothness. So I have no doubt Ghost of Tsushima will be great in some way, shape, or form, whether it's its story or its exploration. The world looks beautiful, the music. There's going to be something to really like about this game, and I have no doubt I will find some enjoyment in it, because while I don't find the whole checklist open world thing super inventive or unique, which I've come to expect from Sucker Punch, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means that what I saw was underwhelming. And hopefully with this conversation, you've taken something away from it. It doesn't mean you have to change your mind on it, but just some insight as to how I'm feeling about it, and I may be representing a group of people who are underwhelmed. I don't think I have a hug box on my channel at all. I know my audience is very straightforward with me, and they're not afraid to speak their mind, but during this stream and when it was all done, I had about like a almost hour conversation with my audience, and a lot of people really felt like this game didn't look bad. It just kind of looked like Assassin's Creed or a Ubisoft game with some elements of gameplay that we've seen in Sekiro or Nioh 2 that just weren't done as well. So I feel like maybe I'm representing a group of people there that might be a little more afraid to speak out, because the reception to this game has been extremely positive, which is, once again, it's great. But this is just my stance on it. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and share my opinion on Ghost of Tsushima. Hopefully you guys can understand that. I look forward to seeing what you all think in the comments down below, so do fire away. I'm sure there will be a considerable amount of disagreement, but still, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts, so I'll talk with you guys there. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all the patrons who continue to just slay it. Big warm hug for all the patrons. Thank you guys so much for making an insane difference in my life. And I'll talk with all of you soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.